Hey, welcome to the channel. So today what we're going to talk about is when is it worth disassembling a piece of equipment versus scrapping it all. So stay with us. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and yeah, we do small engine repair to farm tractors. And this episode is, I get asked this a lot, what is worth keeping and what is scrap price, alright? What I can tell you is you still have a lot of people doing the old equipment, the older motors. And this is one of them. This is a pretty good sized Kohler. She's got some age on her. But the ones that I find that I make the most money on when I'm doing a teardown versus trying to sell it outright are the John Deere Kawasaki engines, especially the liquid cooled. Those parts, those guys are willing to spend the money to versus buying brand new through John Deere, because most of the John Deere stuff still there's no aftermarkets. So today I've already started disassembling this, and what I do, and I know Jason you're going to love this because I know you do it, is a lot of times we spend our too much time trying to find the right bolt, nut, what have you. So when you're doing a tear down, what I do is I have a box here, and this is all basically metric stuff, because most of the stuff that comes off the Kawasaki's and the Kohlers are metric. So I keep a box of used nuts and bolts that I'm tearing off from this that will come in handy somewhere else, because we will, I know, lose some of these smaller ones. And then we're hunting and hunting, trying to find the right metric bolt, and having to either pay out good money, because if you go to Tractor Supply, they're in a Ziploc type or a sealed bag, and they're not cheap. So I've taken the bolts off here, and I'm pulling the starter off right now. And that I will keep, and we can test this starter to make sure that it works. Versus, I do know that the aftermarkets, they are making this starter and they're not that expensive, but if you've got one kicking around the shop, it'll save you a few dollars as long as it's in good shape. So the other thing we have to do is we need to get this exhaust off. Oh, what size are you? That's the girl. I don't know if this thing is going to have enough oomph or not. Let's find out. See, these impacts, I like my DeWalt's, the 20 volt. They've got a lot of power. Nothing compared to the old school that we got our teeth broken in on. And that's the other thing, if you have a nut get stuck in one of these sockets, thread it back on just so far to where you can kind of give her a little, come on, get on here tight. Almost there, come on Betsy. There we go. Let's see if she'll take off the bottom one. Because they will get rust on them and make it tight on the socket. Almost there, come on, there we go. So then you can just take them out the rest of the way with your fingers. There's certain things that are worth. We got more than two? Yeah, we got up here. But there's certain things that are worth keeping and certain things that are not. I mean, like this solenoid here, it's been, you can see the burnt marks and everything else on it. I don't bother keeping these things for what they cost. And I know me as a customer, I wouldn't want a used one put onto my machine. Alright, let's look at number 10. Now when you're using your box end wrenches and stuff and you're trying to get more push on it than what you can actually take a wrench, just stick it there and it'll give you extra. It's just sliding this edge right over the lower part of it, and you can do it the other way too if you want to tighten it. It just gives you more power and more pressure that you can put against it. The longer the extension out here, the more leverage you have. I guess it's all part of physics. But in this case, we can't get an impact or anything in there. We have to do it by hand. I got my fingers are too fat. There we go. Again, keep all your bolts and nuts. And like pieces like this is good heavy wire. Those come in handy too to keep. The smaller ones for the jumps, yes and no. I mean, I got a ton of wire ends. If you don't, it'd be worth it. This is worth kicking around. It's got the male and female end on it. You can stick it in your box. And now you've got a perfect good exhaust that somebody could use that you could sell for 20-25 bucks. We talked about this the other day about when you're rebuilding decks where you got to build it up. These pieces come in perfect, you know. Or if you're looking to put strength somewhere to have added strength. We keep all of our steel just for that purpose. So this is good for decks. It's nice and light. What else do we have? Oh, there's one right there. So let's spin this girl around. Take that off. Somebody is actually zip tied the governor. That might have come factory, but I don't think so. You could answer that one, Jason. There, so we got that off. Flip over. The other things that I keep is like the regulators on them. The very least you can use them for testing. And what do I mean by testing? I mean, if you run into where you're working on an engine and you're not sure and you don't want to become a parts replacer, if you have used parts that you know are good, try that. And if the voltage regulator, you put it on, and all of a sudden you start getting a charge and you start seeing everything working the way it's supposed to, then buy the voltage regulator if you want to put new on that piece of equipment for your customer. Or if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you're working from home, there's no reason why that if this is in good shape, why not use it if you have it? I mean, to me, that's common sense. Well, somebody will say, well, it probably won't last as long as a new one. The crap that's coming out these days, I beg to differ. Man, it's sad to say, but stuff today, again, good material, you can cut it and reuse it. If not, it'll go on the scrap bin. Alright, so what do we want to do next? Let me grab a screwdriver. Everything can be reused, right down to the old carburetors. And I'll tell you, for the guys that are, excuse me, for the guys that are working at, you know, I don't call them the perfectionists. They want, if true blue collar, if that's what they're working on, they want OEM parts. And they're willing to go out and buy an OEM carburetor and then rebuild it themselves. And what I do is if I'm selling it on eBay, I leave it in the same condition I took it off. That way they can see that it's a fresh pull. I haven't done anything to it. It was running when I started tearing it apart. It had another issue than the carburetor. And then you can resell those. And those guys that are trying to keep everything OEM will buy those in a heartbeat over a Chinese knockoff that you can get for pennies on the dollar. Gaskets, you know, I toss them in because they might get used somewhere else. Same thing with the coil. If the coil is working good, save it, put it in a junk box. But what I tend to do is I have pull draws that are pretty good size, and it has Kohler on it. So if I throw these in, I know it come off from a Kohler engine. And if you really want to get better at it, have a tag on it that tells you what model it come off from. You got the sensors that you can keep, pop them off. You've got the complete whip that you can dismantle. And we could pull the flywheel, stator inside, and the flywheel has value, the stator has value, the wire whip. But this is just one way to take junk and repurpose it. Probably the biggest thing I'm going to get out of this is I'm going to get a lot more nuts and bolts that are metric into my box for future use, where you never know, you might need one of them. And just for the time you spent, where today is Saturday, I'm just trying to kill time. I got a couple customers coming picking up belts for their lawnmowers. Why not keep myself busy and make a few bucks and save a few bucks? On that note, catch you guys on the next video.